So, a little over a decade ago, there was this general manager by the name of Sam Hinkie. And Sam Hinkie, he was talking about changing the whole Philadelphia 76ers ways, talking about trust the process. No wonder why Joel Embiid got that nickname for a reason. Sam Hinkie created that name, trust the process. And indeed, they did kind of trust the process, as in 2014 and 2016. Obviously, I'm going to skip 2015 because y'all know Joel Okafor wasn't that great. But in 2014 and 2016, they lucked into the draft, as in the third overall pick, they selected Joel Embiid in 2014. And then in 2016, they selected Ben Simmons with the number one overall pick. And those were kind of dubs, but we all know how that turned out. One of them's not even a top 30 player, arguably not even top 40. But another one has turned out to be a top 10 player in this league and the MVP candidate in Joel Embiid. But ever since then, the Philadelphia 76ers, they've kind of let me down. As in 2018, they lost to a Boston Celtics-less team without Kyrie in 5 games. And then they lost a heartbreaking 7-game series against the Raptors. And then in 2020, they lost to the Boston Celtics in the sweep as they didn't have Ben Simmons. And then in 2021, they lost to a 5th-seeded Atlanta Hawks team in 7 games as Ben Simmons proceeds to have one of the worst series by a so-called superstar as he passes up a wide-ass open layup with Trae Young under there. And now this year, it's the same shit over and over again as they fall to the number 1 seed in Miami Heat, as Joel Embiid, he didn't have the great performance. And I'm going to get to James Harden's sorry ass in a minute. But I'm going to talk about this whole process, and I'm going to talk about why they failed and why they'll keep failing until they make some goddamn adjustments. But I'm going to start off with ashy voice himself, Doc motherfucking Rivers. And look, Doc Rivers, I ain't say he don't deserve much of the blame, as Doc Rivers only been there for 2 seasons. But I think some people need to start holding Doc accountable for these failures that the Sixers been having. I'm not saying it's all his fault, especially in this series, because James Harden was just pitiful. But Doc Rivers, you're the same guy that kept making excuses for your past failures, especially blowing those multiple 3-1 leads in Orlando and twice with the Clippers. But these aren't my own words. These are his words. So let's listen to him.
Old story with me. All right. My Orlando team is the 8th seed. No one gives me credit for getting up against the Pistons who won the title. That was an 8th seed. Go look at that. I want you to go back and look at that roster. I dare you to go back and look at that roster, and you would say, "Got a hell of a coaching job." The Clipper team that we lost 3-1. Chris Paul playing the first 2 games and was playing on one leg. And we didn't have home court. And then the last one, to me, is the one we blew. That's the one I said, we blew that. And that was in the bubble. And anything can happen.
So do y'all see what I'm talking about? Those are not my words. Those are his words. And he was making excuses about his team's blowing the 3-1 lead. And look, I'm not going to kill him too much for that Orlando blown 3-1 lead, because like he said, the Pistons will go on to win the championship the next year. But I'm not really just going to excuse a blowing the 3-1 lead. But hey, the Pistons were the Pistons. But the Clippers days, that was just unacceptable. You had all that great talent, and you failed to get to a conference finals with those type of teams. Look, I'm not saying the players aren't blameless, but Doc Rivers, I think he need to be holding accountable for a lot of these postseason failures that he has suffered. And moving on to the GM, Elton Brand, and talk about an awful job. Like, this man is arguably the worst general manager in the league right now. Like, for real. Like, this man keep making boneheaded decisions after boneheaded decision after boneheaded decision. Are we just gonna forget that he gave Al Horford, who was agent, a max contract, and then they traded Josh Richardson for Jimmy Butler in a sign and trade? Yeah, talk about boneheaded right there. And then he traded Mikal Bridges on draft night. Yeah, another boneheaded move. And then he proceeds to give Tobias Harris a max contract. He gave this dude a max contract. worth over 180 mil instead of handing it to Jimmy Butler. So yeah, Elton Brand doing an awful job. Just straight up disgusting, pathetic. Like, for real. And if they don't get this shit right, they better let this dude go. Like, for real. He's been doing an awful job as the 76ers general manager. Like, for real. So Elton Brand, he has to get the fuck out of Philadelphia. Like, for real. Because he keep making boneheaded decisions. He keeps fucking up every year. I know a lot of 76ers fans are starting to get pissed off at this dude. But moving on to the next guy is Joel the Process Embiid. And look, I'm not saying Embiid's blameless in these postseason failures that the 76ers had, as in 2019, he underperformed against the Raptors despite him having all those injuries. And in 2020, I'm not really going to kill him too much. 2021, same thing, even though he had some bad moments, especially going 1-12 in Game 4 against the Hawks. But Embiid, at least he do be showing up a little bit in the postseason. I'm not saying like LeBron or Kawhi type of showing up. But hey, Embiid, he do be trying his best. And he came into the postseason with a thumb injury. And then he just broke his face in the first round against the Raptors. And he's still going out there giving it his all. Sure, Embiid didn't have the best series as he was kind of inefficient. As he only averaged like 19 a game in that series. But hey, Embiid, he tried his hardest. And I really do not trust Joel Embiid of leading the team to a championship because of his health. Like, seriously. Like, Joel Embiid is not trustable of winning the championship as your main guy. Because he really needs, like, a guy to be on his caliber, at least worse or to his caliber. Because Joel Embiid, with the wear and tear on his body, I don't think he can handle this all by himself. And last but not motherfucking least, I'm getting on to his co-star. And you already know who it is. The left-handed Raymond Felton himself, James Harden. And James Harden, talk about a no-show in the last 2 games. Just straight up disgusting, pathetic, despicable. 14 points in Game 5, and then will proceed to go on in Game 6 at home and drop only 11 points and only shot 9 times. 9 times. And also had 4 turnovers, I believe. And then in the second half, he only attempted 2 shots. 2 shots. The guy that led the league in scoring 3 times only attempted 2 shots in the second half. And didn't even make a single one. Only had 2 points in the second half. Oh, he got all that shit at the free throw line, obviously. So yeah, James Harden, this guy is trash, bro. Like, to be honest, he kind of quit on the team. Because you got guys like Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid at least dropping 20 points. While you're out there being lazy, not even chasing down Bam Adebayo, at least putting in no effort, just let him just dunk the ball. Like, are you kidding me? Like, for real. James Harden, and this is not something new, because he did it in 2017. Let's not forget about that shit, as in Game 6 versus the San Antonio Spurs, where he looked like he was playing for the other team and only dropped 11 points, I believe, in that game, with 6 turnovers, and they got blown out by nearly 40 points. And it was without Kawhi Leonard as well. So yeah, James Harden, this is not something new from him, as he kind of did quit on his team. As James Harden, man, he is just copying and pasting what he has finished since he left Houston. Like, for real. And he put himself in these type of situations. He forced his trade out of Houston. He got it. He forced his trade out of Brooklyn. Guess what? He got it. And what are the results? The same exact bullshit. The same exact bullshit. Hasn't got to the finals yet. Ever since he was the 6th man for the Thunder. I didn't even mention his OKC years where he played like shit against the Miami Heat. So yeah, James Harden, man, this dude is not dependable. Is not even being the number 1 option on the championship team. Hell, I really don't even trust him as a number 2 guy. As a number 2 guy. Yeah, I said it. Because this dude, why do I even have faith in James Harden in the playoffs? We all know he's going to come in, shit the bed, and only have like 3 or 2 good performances. So yeah, this is not something new. So yeah, James Harden, this guy sucks. And this probably could be his last and final game as a Philadelphia 76ers. But I'm not sure. Could keep him for another year. So yeah, they didn't fix this shit because Joel Embiid, he is not getting any younger because all the wear and tear on his body and all the postseason failures. I'm not saying Embiid ain't blameless, but hey, Embiid is 28 years old. He is reaching his early 30s, and y'all still don't got a finals appearance. Hell, y'all don't even got a conference finals appearance after 5 years in the Joel Embiid era. And if y'all don't even make a conference finals appearance, yeah, Joel Embiid is starting to get frustrated, and he could request a trade and could team up with another superstar that could take off the burner off of him come postseason time if he gets hurt again. So yeah, the Philadelphia 76ers, y'all fucked up. Y'all fucked up the process. The process is over with. Just deal with it. The 76ers, they're over. Like, it's time to give up on them. The process is done. But hey, they could luck into a draft pick. We have to wait and see. But as of right now, the process is done. It's over. Just face it. But that includes this video. What y'all think about this video? Is the process over with? This your boy Lil Trady signing out. Peace.